Heyo, I'm Colby from Sanitarium Productions. We're back again with another action figure review. In this episode, we're taking a look at the Marvel Legends line. This is the Cole Obsidian Build-A-Figure set from the Avengers Infinity War series. This is Black Widow. So this is one of the newer iterations of Black Widow with a little bit more of an updated facial sculpt, which I am really digging. It comes on a standard Marvel Legends series card here. Nice window art, window box, however you want to look at it. Flip this over to the side. You have some really cool artwork from the movie. Same thing on the other side. The top has the traditional Avengers logo along with the Build-A-Figure Cole Obsidian stamp on it. The bottom has usually the copyright information. You'll notice here there is a Amazon Warehouse Deals Inspected sticker on this one. I actually couldn't find this one in stores anywhere, so I actually found a really good deal from the Amazon Warehouse because on the back, this one is pretty well damaged. There's a big dent in it. On the back, we also have a standard kind of glamour shot of the figure itself, which doesn't really look all that good from the face of it, but the figure looks a lot better than what that turned out to be. So anyways, the rest of the packaging has the Cole Obsidian Wave figures on it. So here's all the ones you need to collect to get to build the cool figure. And yeah, so again, I got a pretty good deal on this because of that damage here, but that does not affect the figure. So yeah, you know, look for some deals like that when you can. Sometimes they pay out, sometimes they don't. So we actually have two pieces of tape here, and I think that's because we had that damage on the card itself. So I'm going to slice both of those pieces of tape open and then pull. Actually, there's three pieces of tape. Weird. Three pieces of tape on this one. Pull that little tab out right there. Grab a hold and yank that flap open. Grab the figure inside and pull it out. So very cool. We'll throw this. Yeah, this is why I don't care about the damage on the card, because I'm gonna just toss that anyways. So Amazon Warehouse is sometimes a good place to catch deals like this. Otherwise, yeah. Bubble lifts out of the card back here, and you can see that damage didn't go through to the actual card here, but again, I'm not keeping this particular insert, so doesn't matter to me. Let's see what we got in here. We have the main torso for our Build-A-Figure set for Cole Obsidian. So this is cool looking. We'll take a closer look here in a moment when we get everything out of here. We've got the actual figure itself, which actually has a plastic rubber band on it. So I'm going to flip this over and cut these off. Didn't realize that up front. No big deal. Pull the figure out now and get rid of those twisty tie things, rubber bands. Then we have a set of these cool kendo sticks. These, I guess, electronic kendo sticks from the movie. They're a little bit bent in here, but that's okay. Then we've got some extra accessories here. We have an alternate set of hands, left and right. And then we got these doohickeys. I guess these are supposed to be the folded up versions of the kendo sticks. Not really sure. We'll need to zoom in a little bit and take a look at that and see. Toss the packaging over there and zoom in on these figures here. About right there should do for us. We're going to start out by taking a look at the torso for Cole Obsidian. Some very cool looking details going on in this guy. Very nice looking. I'm digging these cool shoulder pads here. We do have, so it's on a hinge joint here, obviously. Little peg holes in the side here. You just kind of peg those in place. That, and it should hold in place once we actually get the arms on there. I do like the detail work they got going on the skin and textures here. Nice detail on his skirt thing here. So yeah, pretty cool looking. For right now though, we're going to go ahead and set that to the side over here with the rest of our stack of parts until we get them all together, and then we'll do an actual deep dive on that guy and actually build the Build-A-Figure. So yes, where do we start here? Let's start, I guess, with these little things here. Again, I'm not 100% sure what these things are, but I'm assuming that they are the folded up versions of these kendo sticks. That's what makes sense to me. There are these little pouchy things on her legs here that these fit into, like so. And they actually fit in there really snugly, which is nice. You do get 2 of these, so I don't know which is left and which is right, so I'm just putting them in here. But go into place there, and they actually hold in there very easily, so that's really nice. So yeah, let's assume that's what they are. Is just folded up electronic kendo sticks. If you actually know what these things are, drop a comment down below. Let us know, and we'll make a correction at some point. But since I'm assuming they're kendo sticks, we're going to look at the actual kendo sticks here. So we get 2 of these, and these are identical. Well, they're not actually identical. We'll look at that here in a second. But one at a time here. So this one has some really nice detail work. Again, I'm not sure how much of that will actually show up on the camera, but some interesting detail work on the hilt. You've got these little metal pieces all the way through that. It's made out of a very soft, bendy plastic here, so if they are, like this one, a little warped, you can apply a little bit of hot water and kind of readjust it there to get it to go back into the shape that you want. The differences between the 2 is that one of them on the hilt here actually has a little peg, and the other side actually has a peg hole. These things are meant to actually peg together like so. And then you have essentially a bow staff. So that's a pretty cool thing. The actual peg itself is not a round peg, it's a square peg. So it will only fit in here basically one way. So if it doesn't quite fit, just kind of slightly turn it until it actually locks into place like that. And you should be good to go. But it's cool that they lock together, or that you can take them apart. If you have them apart here, they fit in her hands actually really easily. So that is pretty cool. Again, it's a little warped, but not that big a deal. So there are the cool electronic kendo sticks. We also have a set of alternate hands here, a left and right. We'll just pick up the left hand. So this is basically just the closed fist version of her gloved hand. Pretty standard here. It's got just regular kind of peg joint on it. It is articulated, so you can bend it. Well, we'll stick it on here. So you take the regular hand joint, grab it, and just give it a pull. You may have to kind of shake it a little bit there, but just basically apply a little bit of pressure and it should just pop out. Swap them out by just lining that up and pressing in like that, and then it just rotates and you can go, well, if it's not quite so stuck, normally it will articulate there, and it's the only real bad thing that I really don't like about most of the female figures in this line is that they have really small wrist joints. So I always feel like it's going to break if I put too much pressure on it and trying to actually make it move the way I want it to. But not that big of a deal. So we're going to go ahead and pop this hand back on here. And so that one's much easier to deal with. So the other one is the right hand, so it works the same way. Let's just see if it's any easier to move or not. So pop that one off. Put that in place there. And yeah, that one worked a little easier there. See, it rotates however you want it to go. So pretty cool. Go back to the default mode here with the open hands. So 2 alternate fists, pretty nice. My only big issue with these alternate hand things is just they're really hard to keep up with sometimes. So they're easily lost. But they do make for some nice poses and dioramas and things like that. So I appreciate that they include them. They just sometimes get in the way. But moving on to the figure itself, we have some really cool looking detail work going on here. We'll start with the actual head sculpt here. This is a newer head sculpt from Scarlett Johansson. It does a pretty admirable job of actually looking like her, at least compared to some of the ones we've got in the past. So it actually does look pretty close to like what she looks like. So anyways, nice detail in the hair. Did a nice paint job. It just looks pretty nice here. So very cool. Some really cool details in her flak jacket. You can see the little padding and everything all the way around. I've got some really cool little texture details in her leather suit, I guess you would say. Same thing for her little wrist launcher things there. Some really cool detail in that. Same thing is continued down through the rest of the costume here. Really nice little smaller detailed points for that texture there. Some cool accents on her boots. Her belt has some nice texture as well. So yeah, all in all, it's a pretty cool looking sculpt here. Nice detail, even some detail here in like the collar, which is very cool. Articulation wise, the head does spin 360 degrees. We have full forward motion there, full backward motion there, and we actually do get quite a bit of head tilt here, which is nice. We don't always get that much to play with, so very cool. Standard ball and swivel at the shoulder joint, sorry. Actually, that works a lot better than most of the ones we've seen. We have a single elbow joint here, but it's also a swivel joint here, so kind of plays double time there. So very cool looking. And again, we've already looked at the wrist articulation, swivel, and rocker there. So very nice. We do have the chest articulation, so if you look on the side here, this vest actually pops open, and you can pull the arm joint off if you want to and get in here to the figure underneath, which does have her signature belt thing there, which is cool. But we do have that chest articulation there, so it'll do full forward motion, full backward motion, and you've got some side-to-side play there as well as the twist feature. If you actually clasp the sides here of this flak jacket, get that to go back in there, you do have a little bit more limited articulation there. You can only go back about that far. Side-to-side is still pretty good, and you do still have some tilt. So all in all, that's pretty nice. The belts here are movable to a certain extent, so you can adjust them if you need to. We do have these standard plastic T-hooks at the hip joints there, so we have full outward motion there, which is a really good range there. All the way forward, very nice. All the way to the back, it only goes back about that far, so not that big a deal. These little holster attachments are actually sculpted in there, so you're going to be a little bit limited with them, especially with the top of the thigh twist. You won't be able to go all the way around, but you get a pretty good range there, so not too bad here. We do get a double knee joint. We do not get a twist at the anywhere on the boot, but we do have the standard rocker, twisty, shifty thing for the ankle articulation. So all in all, pretty cool. Just overall thoughts here. I really do like the way this figure looks. It's got really nice sculpting details. It's probably the best looking Black Widow figure we've got from the movie line, so it does have plus for that. I really just like this figure. It looks really nice. It's kind of a nice kind of stealth ops figure here, so it can play in all sorts of different realms here, I guess. So I like it. It looks really cool. The accessories we get are pretty cool too, but the figure itself is what really shines here, not the accessories. So I give it a 2 thumbs up. I keep changing my rating scale here, but it is highly recommended regardless. This one actually was a bit hard to find for a little while, but I've actually started seeing it show back up on store shelves in retail. So it should be fairly easy to track down nowadays. Retail on these things were about 20 bucks, so you may have to pay a little bit more because it is a really cool figure, and you do get the cool torso part of Cull Obsidian. But it's definitely worth tracking down. So put a little effort into it and pick this figure up, and I do not think you're going to be disappointed. That's all the time we've got for today, so thanks for watching. Drop some comments down below letting us know what you think of this Black Widow figure. Do you think it actually looks anything like Scarlett Johansson? I kind of think it works anyways. It's not quite 100% accurate, but it's pretty close. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like us, share it with your friends, whatever you want. Be on the lookout for more awesome videos coming down the pipeline. And until next time.